before 8 o'clock. I don't know where that came from. Reading, it's hard.
Well, I think when you have a I'll say in all candor, when you're in a foreign country and a monkey in a diaper sitting on your head, you're asking for trouble.
Discussion can end there. That's right. Boom. It's a definitive statement on the issue. Now we move on.
So how many times have you thought about that was a bad idea that I had a monkey on my head since you had the monkey on your head?
Every time I go visit Dr. Pellegrino, my personal doctor. Do you know what it's like to tell your doctor that?
Well, yeah, Doc, I also had a monkey. Excuse me? Had a monkey on my head with a diaper on. I bet you that's the first time Dr. Ron has ever heard that one. He's probably heard a lot of things.
He's heard a lot. Yeah, Dr. Ron has.
He's one of the great West Virginians. He's up there from the Northern Panhandle.
He's awesome.
Tremendous.
Yeah, Dr. Ron. Good dude.
We were talking in my office a little earlier, and a phrase that Ryan used that I was really kind of gobsmacked over. He started a sentence with me. He said, "We were watching football on Thursday."
I know, he did the same thing to me. He did this. Is this like Earth 2?
I said, what?
He came back and started telling me about the Cowboys and the Chiefs game.
I know.
You were watching the Lions game on Thanksgiving Day.
Well,
what happened? What happened to our little Ryan?
Well, when my Uncle Bill and my Uncle Chris asked if I want to watch football with them, I don't say no.
Okay.
So, because I'm not a recluse anymore.
So if you have uncles that are big sports fans, do you get some creds? Are you like, hey, I'm actually kind of a sports show, syndicated?
Well, I don't.
Statewide.
Well, I don't want this to be a sports show.
Second game this season that Honors had 8 threes. Second time he's had 8 threes, and his coach has pulled him out with over 4 minutes to go.
You're up 40.
Yeah, but coach just does not want to see him get that record.
There may have been a discussion about that on exactly where he was in the number.
Did you let him know this time?
But there was a discussion about where he was with the number. But at the end of the day, Ross decided the juice not worth the squeeze there. With 3.5 minutes left is when he pulled him out after the timeout there. And listen, that's a guy with a lot of minutes on his in his body. You need to rest him. But 2 out of 11, you got to think maybe he's going to approach that again. Here's what's wild. In those 2 games where he's just been one off of Alex Ruoff's record, he's now a combined 16 of 20 from 3 in those 2 games. So he didn't just make 8 threes, guys. He was 8 of 11 last night. He was 8 of 9 when he did it before. 16 of 20 combined in those 2 games.
Across this great state of West Virginia, welcome in high school game nights. I chuckle a little bit, folks, because it said early edition.
As compared to the
Only
rest
edition.
of the edition, yeah.
Yeah. Tonight is going to be interesting, to say the least.
10 seconds remaining.
Going to be a direct snap here.
Snap back. It's Tyler. Tyler fakes the run. He throws. He's got an open man. Pass top 10. 5. End zone. It's a touchdown. Pulled in by Nestor. 3 seconds left.
Are you kidding me with the play call right there by Kevin Whiteman? Again, forget the game-winning field goal. Whiteman says, we're going to try and win this thing right now. The direct snap to Tyler sucked everybody up, and Nestor slips behind. What an unbelievable gutsy play call, and then perfect execution by these Falcons.
You had a moment of clarity about when it all started to make sense for you?
It did, because I didn't want to be a filmmaker growing up. I didn't even know what filmmaking was growing up. I used to watch Oprah and Katie Couric, and that's what I wanted to be. I wanted to be a journalist. Yeah. I wanted to be you. And I worked at West Virginia University's radio station, had a very thick accent. People would call in and make fun of me. And so I asked my roommates, my college roommates who are from Baltimore, to teach me how to talk differently. Really? Yeah. And it's a loss, I feel, from that. And it's probably one of the reasons why I love documenting people that are authentic. Like, I don't know if I'm authentic, but I think the people I find are very authentically who they are, and that's what draws me to them.
5, 3.
Red 57! Red 57! Hot, hot!
I don't believe what I just saw. Bill McKenzie kicks a 38-yard field goal on the final play of the football game.
5 seconds left in the game. Do you believe in miracles? Yes!
It is a great night to be a Mountaineer wherever you may be.
From the home of the state's land-grant institution, inside the Health Plan Studios, in the Dale B. Miller Building in Morgantown, it's time for the state's most listened to sports talk show. This is the CityNet Statewide Sportsline. CityNet, cybersecurity experts for the digital age. And now, across the state of West Virginia and beyond, Sportsline is on the air.
Sportsline for a new week. Thanks for joining us. Kyle Wiggs and Brad Howe in the studio. Good evening, Brad.
Good evening, Kyle.
Back from the warmth of Arizona in the deep freeze here, but I'm sure you'll adjust quickly.
We'll be fine.
Probably already have. Greg Hunter's with us on the phone, and Greg is iced in, and we're glad you can be with us, though. Good evening.
Oh, yeah, thanks to modern technology, I can still join you. I don't live that far from Brad, but my road did not get plowed out yet, so I'm still stuck at home at the moment. You live out here, you're used to those things, but glad I can join you guys.
Well, it's not the plowing, it's the ice.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, it's our road hasn't been touched yet for the most part, so we're fine. You learn to learn that out here, but like I said, hopefully by tomorrow I'll be able to get out.
Sit tight, stay warm, and Coach Hunter will be on the phone tonight. A lot to talk about. Mountaineers get a split on the road, win at Arizona State, lose at Arizona. Mountaineer women on the road, they won their first leg at BYU, and tomorrow night they'll play at Utah, so we can get into that. We got a Super Bowl matchup, which – if you would have floated this scenario in August, it would have been the longest of long shots. Although both teams played very well all season long and quickly established themselves as contenders, but when the season started, there was no way people would predict a New England-Seattle Super Bowl.
One of the biggest turnarounds in NFL history for the Patriots to go from what they did into the Super Bowl. Just remarkable in Vrabel's first year there. Drake May had a really, really good season in the MVP conversation with Stafford. That game was wild yesterday in Denver. How about that snowstorm that came in there? That changed or at least affected that game greatly there in the second half.
It absolutely affected that game, and Denver's offense dried up in the second half. After the decision to not take the points in the first half, you lose by a field goal there. And Seattle's a great story with Sam Darnold. Man, he took, it's not the same guy. Didn't look like the same guy.
Yeah.
Took some huge hits and delivered the ball. Was huge on third down, something like 6 of 9 on third down, and just made plays and outplayed the guy who's probably going to win the MVP in Stafford. So
you're saying you're allowed to get better?
You're allowed to get better.
Yeah. Darnold has and found an organization where he fits and was really good, had a great year as well.
And these teams, you're allowed to get better. At the beginning of the season, no one thought them of playoff teams, and here they are, Seattle and New England in the Super Bowl. All right, we can get into that a little bit more as we move along as well. Thoughts from Saturday, West Virginia losing at Arizona, and it's a quick turnaround for both teams. Mountaineers play tomorrow night. We talked about that after the long trip. Arizona had to travel and play tonight at BYU on Big Monday.
Yeah, I think my initial thoughts are that's a really talented offensive team in particular. I do think they have some questions defensively, but that's for down the road. That's a really good team and a super difficult place to play. And if you're going to pull that win off, and we're going to play Ross Hodgkiss coming up. I'm sure he said what I'm about to say here, but you've got to go in and have a special performance shooting the basketball if you're going to play with them, which would help you control the pace, which is one of the only ways you can limit their pace. And West Virginia just did not. Second fewest made three-pointers on the year, second lowest three-point percentage on the year, second lowest two-point percentage on the year. And again, I thought a lot of that was due to just West Virginia not making shots. And I know we always laugh, Greg, we giggle and laugh when we say it's a game where you got to make shots. And I thought that was the story in that one. You probably don't walk out of there with a win against them in their building because of that offensive talent. But I think that game could have been and probably should have been a little bit closer if you'd got some of those shots to fall.
Yeah, you needed some stuff early, right? And you didn't get the stuff early, and then Arizona just started to pull away as time went. But, Brad, Travis and I talked about it on Sunday night show a little bit last night in terms of, West Virginia's now seen 3 of the elite teams in the Big 12. Texas Tech and BYU are still to come. But out of the 3 so far, Arizona, Houston, Iowa State's dropped back a little bit to the pack, but who's the best of the 3 you've seen courtside?
It's a great question. Kyle and I were talking about that beforehand. I think this was and I'm not sure it's much of a question with the 2 you just mentioned, best offensive team I've seen. They are talented in a lot of ways, and I thought that showed itself on Saturday, and that the game plan was exactly what you saw play out. West Virginia had to pick something. You're not going to shut everything off against that team offensively. They decided, because what Arizona does is they are constantly putting pressure on the rim. There's really not a lot of offensive sets. It's that wheel look, and they give it to a player, and he probes in, and if he can't make it, they kick it behind him, and the next guy probes in, and they're looking for lobs to 7-2 Krivas, and then they crash the offensive glass. It's not tricky. It's just hard as heck to stop. But West Virginia closed that lane off really well. Krivas ends up with a double-double, but a lot of those were on putbacks. There were not a lot of lobs. I counted 3 of them during the game. So the plan was make them shoot the 3. They did not want to do that. They hadn't done it all year. They were 16th in the league in attempts. And so you got to live with something. And you said, all right, go ahead, guys. If you're going to beat us, make 3s and we'll tip our cap. And they made 3s. It was just the 4th time all year they've made double-digit 3s. Their 3-point attempt rate was significantly higher than it had been any other game. And Burries, in particular, had a nice game. I mean, he's outstanding. McDonald's All-American, true freshman, the second and least ballyhooed of their true freshmen. He's really good. So they made shots. You took your swing with what I thought was a really good game plan, and they said, all right, fine. We don't normally shoot 3s. We'll make them today.
Both freshmen I thought were outstanding.
Yeah, Pete's a handful, too. Pete's a handful. He's a guy, again, that's the thing. You're looking at them, and Burries was their star on Saturday. There's other games when he's their 4th option in there, and you can't contain Krivas. And then, oh, by the way, Pete's just bullying his way in there. I think that offensive team, Greg, is really good. I do have some questions, and I'm nitpicking. It's the number 1 team in the country that are beating most everybody by 30, not just West Virginia. But I wonder about their defense, Greg. Again, West Virginia's offense was working in terms of getting open looks, and there were times when a couple guys of that starting 5 were not interested in guarding you. So when it gets down to the actual winning situations in the NCAA tournament, I'll be interested to see where they go. Houston, on the other hand, I think is about as tough a team as you're going to find. Their question is they have big stretches where they can't score either. Now, you got a guy like Kingston Flemings, who we've talked about so much. He put up 42. They still lost the game. It was he and Sharp were having to carry that load offensively. Sometimes their scoring inside disappears on them, so that if their shooting's off, they could be vulnerable too. But again, I'm nitpicking here because I think both of those teams are going to be seriously in the hunt for a Final Four berth.
Tonight go ahead, Greg. Go ahead.
Yeah, isn't that the DNA of each of those teams, though? Arizona always been known offensively is incredibly excellent and efficient, and sometimes a little bit defense optional. In Houston, just the other way around. So I guess they're just living up to what they've always done.
Yeah, I want to see BYU live, because when you have the best player in America in DeBonsa, and I'm not sure there's much doubt of that anymore if there ever was. He put up 43 on Saturday, and he's doing that in a 6'9" frame and can take you over. And they might have the best point guard in the league, guys, in Robert Wright. I mean, Flemings is right there, but Wright does so many things for that team. And, oh, by the way, Richie Saunders is a first-team All-Big 12 dude. So BYU might be right there. And, guys, I'm not so sure Texas Tech's not the best team in this league. And I realized I said the other night on our show here that I'd probably walk out saying Arizona was. It might be Texas Tech. So we'll have to see. This is a really quality league at the top. There's no doubt.
Well, tonight's the night. Arizona might get beat because they're at BYU.
Tough place to play. We'll see.
Again, short rebound there. They play Saturday, travel Sunday, play on Monday in a place where you know they're waiting for you. That's going to be raucous.
That'll be a fun place to watch.
DeBanza on national TV tonight, big Monday, coming off a 43-point game. Can he go back-to-back? You know, there's a lot there.
That could be a heck of a showcase for the league.
No doubt. So that one is at 9 o'clock tonight, Arizona at BYU. We mentioned the women's team. How about that? They come on the road at BYU, play really, really well, and win that game. And they've got another one they can pick off on the road tomorrow night at Utah. West Virginia beats BYU 91-77. West Virginia in that game, 22 of 29 from the foul line. Shot it really, really well. Got to the free throw line. The inside players played extremely well once again. Gia Cook had one of her best games of the year. the Mountaineers score 91 points on the road and beat BYU.
Yeah, and I mean, let's give Sydney Woodley some props. I mean, here's a player that's not necessarily been a great offensive force for West Virginia. She has a really good offensive game to lead West Virginia there. That earns her, starting 5 in the honor roll for the Big 12 this week. So she really stepped up her offensive game when West Virginia needed it, because that was a Mountaineer team that got down by double figures.
Down 13.
In the first quarter, and fought back in the second quarter and just pulled away in the second half.
So West Virginia, again, the women play on the road at Utah coming up tomorrow night. We do have comments from head coach Ross Hodge of the Mountaineer men. We want to get into the matchup with Kansas State as well. Kansas State's going to come limping in here as they played their rival Kansas. Played them pretty close for most of the game, but you could tell they were missing a couple of key components, and at least one of those, maybe both, but at least one of them will not be with them when they come in here to Morgantown tomorrow night. So we'll get into that as we move along on the show as well. 304 Talk 304. That is the text line for your input. This is the CityNet statewide sports line coming to you from the Health Plan Studios since 1979. The Health Plan has called West Virginia home. From humble beginnings, they've grown alongside West Virginia, becoming a part of its fabric. For over 4 decades, they've been here through thick and thin, supporting local families and businesses, proudly serving West Virginia for over 40 years. The Health Plan.
We are there for you, to care for you at the Health Plan.
The Health Plan is still growing, giving you a large network of doctors, friendly and helpful customer service representatives, and competitive, flexible pricing plans that meet your needs. Log on to healthplan.org for more information.
We are there for you, to care for you at the Health Plan. We are here for you.
Days, evenings, weekends, and holidays. You can't predict when you'll get sick or hurt. But WVU Medicine Urgent Care is prepared to help when you do. Our team treats minor illnesses and injuries and performs services like on-site lab and imaging, vaccinations, and sports physicals. WVU Medicine is ready to assist you and your family when life happens. To find the closest location near you, visit wvumedicine.org/urgent care.
The Mountain State Assessment of Trends in Community Health, or MATCH, is a survey sent to 88,000 West Virginian home addresses where the information you provide can support policymakers to direct resources to help your community. If selected, you will receive the survey information and invitation in the mail. You can complete the survey online, by mail, or by phone, and you will be compensated for your time. Visit wvmatchsurvey.org for more information. Helping your community is a touchdown for West Virginia.
Live from the Health Plan Studios, the CityNet statewide sports line returns in 2 minutes on Metro News, the voice of West Virginia.
I have had a complicated relationship with food. My job was to talk to heart failure patients about diet and exercise. I felt like, why would you listen to me? Because I was not following a diet that was healthy for me. I needed help. Bariatric surgery at WVU Medicine helped me lose 175 pounds. I feel like I'm free. They hold the skill, they hold the tools, and they're waiting for you to come say that you need the help.
New year, new truck. Save over $7,500 off on select Tundras or get 2.99% for 72 months. Come experience cars you can count on year after year. Dan Cava, Toyota World in Fairmont. Shop the road.
Download Metro News Television on your iPhone or Android. Search Metro News Television in your app store. Create an account today to get alerts and watch all live and archived content. Download now.
You own a boat because you love spending time on the water. Choose the outboard that allows you to make the most of it. Honda Marine's legendary reliability, ease of maintenance, and powerful performance keep you going strong. And they're all backed by the peace of mind protection of the industry's best limited warranty. Visit your Honda Marine dealer today and find out why it's more than an engine. It's your time on the water.
Steig Wealth Enhancement Group is now Wealth Enhancement. We believe retirement starts with a plan. Saving for college, starts with a plan. Your legacy starts with a plan. Do you have the right plan? Call our team at 304-443-4240 or email stike-info@wealthenhancement.com.
Sportsline for this Monday. You've got Kyle and Brad in the studio. Greg is with us on the phone, 304-TALK 304. We'll get to the texts coming up. Let's hear from Mountaineer coach Ross Hodge, and he started off with some comments concerning Kansas State. And, Brad, we talk about DeBansa, who with his 43-point game for BYU Saturday, and he's not the leading scorer in the league. That would be P.J. Haggerty, who's coming to town with Kansas State tomorrow night.
Yeah, he's outstanding. Comes in from Memphis, second-team All-American last year by most accounts. Some first teams mixed in there as well. He's a heck of a scorer. 20-plus points in all but 5 games. He's gone for 30 or more in 3 games. Those are all wins. This is a guy that's going to come in and score. Given what they may be looking like injury-wise, This is a guy that gets after it. Rim and 3. He'll want to get to the rim. Almost 70% of his shots in the paint or at the rim, and he can step out and hit threes, but a really talented scorer.
Mountaineer coach Ross Hodge on P.J. Haggerty and Kansas State.
They've battled some injuries as of late, and that's distorted their team a little bit. So they're still kind of trying to, find themselves with the adjustments in their rosters, but still a very dangerous offensive team. Again, led by him. Castillo and Johnson are both capable of making shots. You saw what Kostick did in that Kansas game. He made 4 threes. So, they have good space around them. They can make shots. And then they have, kind of the ultimate, leverage piece in Haggerty that makes it difficult to defend.
So Haggerty at 23.4 points per game. But, guys, they're going to come in here without a couple of starters. Abdi Basher is out, and Brad, you say there was an announcement in terms of him having surgery.
Yeah, Jerome Tang put out there that he's having surgery, so he's out likely 4 to 6 weeks. So Bashir, I think you'll see him as out on the injury report that comes out. And then Kamari McGriff is the next one you're looking at, 6'9", really talented player as well. Did not play against Kansas, so we'll have to see what the official report is on him.
So Bashir was 67 threes, leading the team in three-point shooting by a fairly wide margin. And then in McGriff, you lose a big body there. A guy who was averaging double figures. Both of them were double-figure scorers. And McGriff, one of the leading rebounders on the team at about 4.5 per game. So that's significant.
McGriff shooting nearly 80% from the field. He is outstanding on the pick and rolls, offensive rebounds, post-ups. I'm shocked they don't use him a little bit more. Bashir's a big hit for them because if you take what I just said about Haggerty, the ability to dribble into the lane and then can kick it out with Bashir on the wings, half of his shots, 50% of his shots, came from the left or right wing 3. So they'd position him over there, let Haggerty go to work, either finish or kick out. So, yeah, that changes the Wildcats. That's a help for West Virginia, no doubt.
So,
Brad,
go ahead, Brad.
I'm sorry, Brad. I mean, obviously they've got some high-end talent. The injuries notwithstanding, can you put your finger on why they've not been more successful as a team?
It's a good question. They've lost 6 of 7 there, and they just seem to be, I think Ross probably said that well, searching to find their way. And it's the same thing that we all go through. When you're putting new pieces together, sometimes they work, sometimes they don't fit. And that's certainly a Kansas State team that right now, as they've opened Big 12 play, haven't been able to fit enough to get wins. But I think I share Ross's concern in this league. You start to look past anybody, it's dangerous. I would think you're going to get Haggerty in here and just say, get out of the way, boys. I'm going to the basket and score the ball here. So a big night on tap for Jasper Floyd, who's been outstanding on-ball defense with the best guard on the opposing team, generally the point. So that'll be a good matchup to watch. But they're going to come in here and I think let it fly if you're Haggerty.
So about 5 weeks to go in the regular season. West Virginia at 17-4, 7-2 in conference play, and Coach Ross Hodge was asked to assess, at least at this point in the season, postseason possibilities.
We have a mature group. They're experienced. They've played a lot of college basketball. I've mentioned that. So, you don't have to remind them very often, kind of what means or doesn't mean, or the opportunities. Like, I think they're aware of those things, and we got a great opportunity at home tomorrow, and you gotta protect your home floor.
Pretty simple there. Win the games you're supposed to win.
Yeah, I think that's critical, and West Virginia's just done a great job at home. 15 consecutive home wins, second longest streak in the league. You've got to keep that together. You got an opportunity this week. We don't want to look ahead to Baylor just yet, but you got to take care of business to Kansas State. And Greg, the concern I think you have is you don't want this to turn in to Arizona State from last year. If you remember back, that Sun Devil team came in here scuffling. They weren't engaged in the first half, but you let them hang around. All of a sudden in the second half, that talent that was there that hadn't gelled just basically said, all right, we're here. We might as well go ahead and try and win it, and did. And that, a lot of people point to that Colorado Big 12 tournament loss. If you believe the committee, which I get it if you don't want to believe anything the committee told you, they said that Colorado loss didn't have an effect. I think you can go back to that Arizona State game last year and point that out. You'll also remember that was a late start. It was a 9 o'clock start. The weeknight game didn't have a great crowd in there, didn't have the same energy. So tomorrow's an important game in terms of you hope you get the students out there because, again, it's an 8:30 start, and we were just coming off that snowstorm. Although the roads in Morgantown were better earlier today, Kyle.
Everywhere but Greg.
So you can get everywhere but Greg. So Greg's attendance may be questionable, but hopefully you get a good student turnout, and that can carry the energy tomorrow night.
Yeah, I mean, if you start to look at the next few games, and if we're going to keep talking about West Virginia in terms of their postseason and truthfully NCAA hopes, these next few games are critical because, I mean, Kyle, you said it. You got to win the games you're supposed to win at home. That means not only Kansas State, Baylor, then you go on the road to Cincinnati. I mean, these are games that aren't necessarily locks by any stretch, but games if you want to be an NCAA tournament team, you got to win.
Yeah, and guys, you hope that the schedule, and again, it's all relative, lessening a little bit over the next couple of weeks should help you. You've started out this conference season with 4 of your 7 games. I'm using the Ken Palm ratings right now. 4 of your 7 games have been against top 14 teams. This has been a challenging schedule. Only Arizona State has had a tougher start to the league. You hope now some of that work you've put in, those reps you've got, what you've learned, starts to play out a little bit. And as you return home, hopefully you can lock those games down. Nothing guaranteed, but you like now how this schedule opens up as you've come out on the plus side of 500 in the league to start, which is a pretty nice start.
Yep, nothing guaranteed. You're right, but these next 3 really crucial. Kansas State, Baylor at home for sure, and then the return trip to Cincinnati. Mountaineer coach Ross Hodge on the rotation that has kind of developed here. You've got your 5 starters plus Chance Moore and the freshman DJ Thomas and Amir Jenkins, that 8-man rotation for the Mountaineers.
Matchups certainly dictate some of who you play and when you play them, and then even in the pockets of these games, you're kind of trying to find some different combinations that give you your best chance to win that night, but I thought Morris played well in the Arizona game the other day. He's been having some good practices. So, to go through the gauntlet of this league and the travel and the quick turnarounds, and you're going to need everybody. But, those 8 that have kind of played the last few games, I think they've done a good job, and there's some continuity and there's some comfort amongst those. But the other guys got to be ready to contribute at a moment's notice as well, and we feel confident in those guys too.
So you got your 5 starters, basically your 8 guys.
Yeah, and that's about right. I mean, you look across college basketball; it's hard to play many more than that, and a lot of teams get down into the 7 range. So that's about right from a rotation standpoint.
Brad, one question, a guy who's not really in that rotation. I would have thought Jackson Field at the beginning of the year would have been there. Just not able to work himself after early season injuries.
Yeah, and Ross talked about that a little bit today. Do you have that cut? Okay, then we'll get into it after you play that cut.
Yeah, let's. We got one more before we get to that one, but you mentioned the difficulty of the schedule and West Virginia's road games. 3 of them have been against among the top teams in the conference: Iowa State, Houston, Arizona, all on the road. Arizona State, of course, the road win for the Mountaineers, and things kind of level off here with back-to-back home games, Baylor and, of course, Kansas State tomorrow night. Mountaineer coach Ross Hodge talks about the difficult road schedule that this team has faced so far.
Coach Eustace would say sometimes the problem isn't you. Sometimes the problem is who you got to play and where you got to play them. Now, with that being said, there's still parts of those games that you look at, and regardless of who you were playing, you can do those things better. You know, uh, whether you're playing in Arizona or a Mount St. Mary's, there's certain aspects that you can control that you have to do. And that's where we look at those specific things and be like, it doesn't matter if it's co-a-pete, like we didn't do what we were supposed to do in this situation. And you got to get really, again, if you're going to go and upset those type of teams, you're going to have to get some special performances from multiple people.
Yeah, it's been tough. I mean, the road schedule, no question, has been tough so far.
Yeah, yes, beyond tough. So, again, go back to the KenPom Marines, 3 of the top 7 in the country you've gone on the road with in your first 7 games. So that's just part of the deal, and he's right, and we talked about that in the open. You're going to have to get some special shooting performances in particular in those games, and that's tough to do on the road. This is a league where now it's 66% of the home teams win the game, so it's a challenge to get it on the road. That's why you walked out of there thrilled you got that Arizona State game. Now you'll get another crack on the road next week against the Cincinnati team. You feel good about going in, but that won't be an easy game either when we get to that one.
Now the comments from the coach on Jackson Fields. Jackson Fields missed the start of the season, of course, with that wrist injury. He did play in the November 30th game against Mercyhurst, had a couple of decent scoring games, and did pretty well. Played well against Ohio State, was in the game against Wake Forest, but since the Big 12 season started, he's seen minimal action, and there's a reason for that. Coach Ross Hodge talked about the possibilities now with Jackson Fields.
And he still is trying to get all the way back from, the surgery that he had. Right. So, some of it is just trying to continue to get his grip strength back and his arm. And there was no restrictions from a basketball standpoint, but, he was still dealing with some limitations in the weight room, with what all he can do in there. So just trying to work him, back into it while being mindful, that he probably is at the threshold of, playing in too many games to receive a medical red shirt. We haven't made any decisions on that. There's no finalities, but there is an awareness that, if he plays in a few more games, then that option is completely off the table.
So possible medical red shirt?
Yeah, it sounds like that from what Ross is saying there. And again, you go through his minutes, had a season-high 26 against Ohio State, and that has decreased down to 7 against Iowa State, 2 against Cincinnati, and 9 against Houston, and we have not seen him play since then. And, yeah, he missed a lot of time, guys. It was the 3 months, every bit of 3 months that he was out. And for a guy that's, again, in his first year trying to find that rotation, that matters. Mm-hmm. That's a factor in that. And as he continues to work his way back, as Ross said there, with the physical part of it, and I think that's a mature approach by the program there to take a look and see if, all right, this is a kid that only has 1 year left potentially, is the best thing to not have him for the rest of the season. So we'll just have to see where that goes. And some of that, guys, some of that has to do also, just from a rotation standpoint, the emergence of DJ Thomas, right? And that's a guy that needs more playing time in there. And Ross mentioned it in the previous clip where you talked about specific guys in matchups, and I think part of that's a reference to DJ Thomas, who almost like Amani was last year, Amani Hansberry, the ability to pick and pop off the pick and roll, the high pick and roll. That was certainly valuable and part of the game plan in the last, 3 of the 4 games. Against Kansas, that was an important part, going against Arizona's bigs this last Saturday, and then Arizona State as well. So DJ Thomas has really emerged and part of what's cut into Jackson's playing time as well.
And Brett, from my perspective, it wouldn't be the worst thing in the world if you had a Jackson Field to help build around next year. I mean, if he did get the red shirt and remained at West Virginia, all big ifs right now, because you're one sprained ankle away from having to make a different decision. But if you had him to start with next year, and Amari Jenkins and DJ Thomas, okay, well, those are some nice building blocks, and then you add the a very promising recruiting class. You get some things to build around instead of starting from scratch completely.
Yeah, you're right, Greg. You'd love some continuity there from this roster that, again, is heavily senior-laden. But in today's day and age, we'll have to take the return or not on a day-by-day basis, right?
Yep.
304 Talk 304. We'll head to the text line when we return. Stay with us. CityNet, bringing us ultra-fast fiber internet to more West Virginia homes every day. Right now, get 50% off any plan for your first year. Check availability and join the fiber revolution at citynet.net. CityNet connects, protects, and perfects.
We were built in West Virginia and for West Virginia. We're investing in our state by expanding our fiber network, creating local jobs, and delivering high-speed internet that truly performs. Sign up now and get 50% off your first year of service with plans starting as low as $25 a month. Experience the speed and reliability you deserve. Visit citynet.net today. CityNet connects, protects, and perfects.
The Mountain State's premier fishing, hunting, and outdoor sports show returns to Milan Park in Morgantown March 7th and 8th. Over 100,000 square feet of campers and RVs, boats and ATVs, hunting and fishing supplies, guns, knives, and more. Limited vendor space is now available. To put your products and services in front of over 10,000 outdoor enthusiasts, visit WVOutdoorSportsShow.com. The 24th Annual West Virginia Fishing, Hunting, and Outdoor Sports Show, presented by Can-Am, March 7th and 8th at Milan Park in Morgantown. A WVRC media event.
The weekend's almost here, and are you looking for the perfect way to enjoy the water? Lou Wendell Marine Sales has you covered with Avalon pontoon boats. These luxurious high-performance pontoons offer smooth rides, spacious seating, and top-tier durability. Built with precision and style, Avalon pontoons deliver comfort and reliability season after season. Visit Lou Wendell Marine Sales today and experience the Avalon difference. Lou Wendell Marine Sales. We sell family fun.
Live from the Health Plan Studios, the CityNet statewide Sportsline returns in 2 minutes on Metro News, the voice of West Virginia.
Start your new year off right with a new ride from Dan Cava GMC. Come explore our 2026 GMC Acadias. Spacious, smooth, and made for everyday life. It's truly a fan favorite. Drive into winter with a new 2026 GMC Sierra, now up to $12,000 off, or lease as low as $499 a month. So upgrade your ride this year with us at Dan Cava GMC in Bridgeport. Shop Thora.
Coming to the Beckley Convention Center, Saturday 23rd and 24th. Who are the toughest men and women in the state of West Virginia? Watch Tough Man live on Metro News Television to find out. Featured fights, top 5 finishes, and event archives. Download Metro News Television on iPhone, iPad, Android, Roku, LG TV, Apple TV, Fire TV, and select Samsung Smart TVs. Find out more at WVMetroNewsTV.com.
Trojan Landing Marine is now Charleston's newest power sports dealership.
We now feature a full line of sleek Suzuki street bikes and four-wheelers. We're now offering the innovative riding experience of Benda motorcycles. The next step in motorcycle evolution with all-electric Zero high-performance bikes. We've now got Segway vehicles starting as low as $10,000. Come in and check out our great selection of high-quality Benelli and Royal Enfield bikes. Visit Trojan Landing in Charleston, now your water, road, and dirt dealership.
Poca Valley has proudly served the citizens of Roane, Kanawha, Putnam, and surrounding counties for over a century. As your trusted community bank, we're committed to building relationships and meeting your financial needs. And with the Poca Valley Visa card, you can enjoy competitive interest rates, no annual fees, and a rewarding points program, all from a bank you know and trust. Visit your local Poca Valley office to apply or call us. Poca Valley, where relationships matter. Member FDIC.
CityNet statewide Sportsline. Kyle and Brad and Greg with you on this Monday. 304 Talk 304. That is the text line. Texter says, so when did they decide not to call 3 seconds anymore in college basketball? Why not? Well, it's been years. I mean, the emphasis is on more so the flow of the game than it is whistles for 3 seconds.
It's
in the
rare.
lane.
We had a couple in the non-conference. I was surprised to see him. You do not see him very often. You're right.
I mean, you go back to when Zach Edey would spend an entire offensive possession for Purdue in the lane.
Yeah, some of that's just the way the game's played, right? You don't use the traditional post as often as you did with a big guy camping in there trying to clear space. So some of it's just the way the game's played.
304 Talk 304 texter asked about the free throw comparison, and yeah, that was pretty egregious. West Virginia, I assume you mean the men's game. West Virginia was 3 of 4 from the foul line, and Arizona was 16 of 23. And the Mountaineers were whistled for 18 personal fouls, and Arizona was whistled for 11.
It was stark for a team that spent most of the game around the three-point line, Arizona. I was surprised at the gap in calls. And, again, this is one of those, just save your text here. This isn't a discussion saying the officials lost you the game. It was an interesting style the way the game was called, and I was sitting 5 feet from it the whole game. It surprised me. That's the lowest, guys, that's the lowest free throw attempt rate. So your free throw attempts divided by your shot attempts, the lowest free throw attempt rate for the Mountaineers in a game since that absolute ridiculous performance in Lawrence where it was 35-2 on the free throws. This was the lowest since then. So, yeah, I was a little surprised how that one was called, to be honest.
Well, this wasn't quite 35-2, Greg, but it was 23-4.
Yeah, and it was stark. I mean, I don't remember a whole lot of calls that I would have said were horrendous, but we add the whole thing together and you go, that was, interesting, though. Again, Arizona was doing so many things better than West Virginia. The outcome wasn't going to change if there were a few more calls that went your way.
You're right, but my complaint always on this is, and by the way, if after the show you want me to call you about 5 or 6 that were egregious, I can certainly do that. The one thing, though, where this does matter, and this is why I know everybody loses their mind, says you can't talk about officiating when you get beat by 30. Okay, fine. I'm going to talk about officiating. Where it does get you is just the style and the manner in which the game is called. I think that's the difference. If you're not allowed to hold and prohibit some of their ball handlers from getting to the basket and you're whistled on the perimeter, that changes how you have to defend. When you go the other way and they're going to grab Honor Huff from behind, and this isn't specific to Arizona, although there were some of this too, and they're going to grab Honor Huff and throw forearms to Honor, knock him off his spot, and that's not called, it does change the game. It's not even so much just about the specific fouls and the balance in the personal fouls. It's the style or manner in which the game is called that sometimes becomes an issue.
Texter with a comment on the women's game, Sydney Woodley, reference to. Woodley, one of the best defensive players on the team. She played quite a bit at the start of the season, and then for a few games in a row didn't play hardly at all. Just wondered why that happened. Well, I mean, she had her best game of the year, and that's a good observation about her defense. She had her best game of the year by far on the road against BYU. 6 of 7 from the field, got to the foul line, 11 of 12, 23 points in 24 minutes, and to the texter's point, led the team with 4 steals. Now, whether there was a bit of an injury that was in there that kept her out of the lineup or reduced her minutes for a while or for a few games at least, I mean, she's obviously one of the more important pieces to this West Virginia women's team.
No, and you're exactly right. And the times she hasn't played as much is when Gia Cook, Sydney Shaw, and Jordan Harrison have played well, your starting backcourt, and also has stayed out of foul trouble. There are times each of those has developed some foul trouble, and that's when it seems like Sydney Woodley has gotten her most action, and then when she scores like she did the other day, she just stays on the court.
304 Talk 304. Let's see. Texter asks, Brad, do the guys have any time for themselves on the road other than study hall and practice and watching film?
They have some, but there's a lot of study hall practice and watching film. So I've said this to you guys before. You would think when you're on the road like that, you would have some more time of just nothing happening. And they keep the guys busy. There's a lot going on, and the film sessions and the walkthroughs and the practice is extensive when you're out there. It is, as we always say, it's cliche, but it's a business trip for those guys. So, yes, they do get a little downtime, rest and recovery, but it's basketball on the road. That's the importance of it.
Okay, question about Dior Hubbard. And Dior Hubbard over the weekend surfaced at Wyoming. So he's out of the transfer portal to Wyoming. And, Greg, did he make some comments? This texter says, less work, no work needs to be said. I'm not quite sure if I'm reading that correctly? But did Dior Hubbard have some sort of comments upon leaving West Virginia?
I didn't see anything. I didn't pay a whole lot of attention to his social media posts since he announced that he was headed to Wyoming. So I don't know specifically, but he was a good kid. Nice kid when he was here at West Virginia. Your leading rusher this past year because he needed to be. They had lost so many in the backfield. He stepped up, at least till he got injured late in the season, and did a nice job, or as good as you could expect. But I'm glad he found a home. But I hadn't seen anything too agree or is disparaging from him about West Virginia. But sometimes those things come through. But that's social media, and why everybody should probably just turn it off.
Yeah, just kind of move on to your next place,
yeah.
And don't worry about what's behind you. Texter pointing out former Pac-12 officials in the game. Brad, is there something to that? See a lot of former Pac-12 officials?
Well, the Pac-12 officials, a lot of merged in with the Big 12, so that was a primarily Pac-12 crew the other night that we got in Arizona. So we see a bunch of them. There's usually one that's around, at least one on each crew. But see, I think that's what I'm saying about the difference in styles.
Mm-hmm.
The Pac-12 was certainly way less handsy and physical than what the Big 12 is. So who acquiesces there? How do they see the game? What do they call the game? Do they allow the hand checks and the pushing and the bumping? Do they allow it all game? Do they call it just in the first half? It's a big part of basketball, and I think that's always a fair question to have a conversation about that because it changes games and trajectories of seasons. There's no doubt.
This texter says, I think the Arizona game was called in a lopsided way. More fouls on West Virginia than Arizona. Well, yeah, that's a fact. I mean, that's a fact.
And again, that one was surprising from this standpoint, guys. Is like I just said, they spent the bulk of their time shooting from the outside, from the perimeter, just as West Virginia did. And to have that kind of imbalance in fouls is always interesting. It's one thing if that had been a normal Arizona game going to the basket, you expect that because they put so much pressure on the rim, but. That's something to keep an eye on. Now, tomorrow night, you're also interested in watching this style. If you look at just Big 12 play, Kansas State's at the very bottom of the league in free throw attempt rate. So this is a team that hasn't got to the line a lot in Big 12 play. Does that stay the same? Does that change if Haggerty's taking more shots? Does he get fouled more often or called for more fouls? So certainly something we'll watch.
Two more.
Brad, can I ask a quick question, Brad, for you? You mentioned Honor Huff and physicality that people have defended him with in recent times. And you look some of the numbers for Honor. First 16 games, he was shooting basically 42% from three. Last 4 games, he's shooting 25% from three. So is it the defense, Honor not shooting as well? What do you pinpoint that difference?
Yeah, I think 2 of your last 4 games are against Houston and Arizona there, so that's to be expected. And you get a Colorado team that was focused on him and an Arizona State team that was focused on him. So I think it's just simply a matter of, there's some physicality, but it's better teams, and he's at the very top of the scouting report. So you're going into that game. If we were sitting there for the Kansas State radio network right now and talking about this, what would we say? You have got to shut down Honor Huff. You run him off that three-point line. And what you're seeing, guys, is that's why these others have emerged and why Trey has been so invaluable and was so good for these last 4 or 5 games going back, because the attention being paid to Honor is opening up opportunities for others. Trayson primarily. Brennan Lorient's had some really good games lately as the inside part of that. So I think that it's more because of that, Greg. It's the increased attention on the scouting report from teams that are really good and talented.
2 more on the officiating, then we'll move on, take our last break. Texter says, I've been surprised to see the increase in the officials allowing physical play, hands on guards, pushing and slamming underneath. Also, calls are inconsistent, and that's basically what you said.
It's a really physical sport. I think that would be the one thing that would surprise fans the most that haven't had a chance to sit right down on the court is just the level of physicality that exists across college basketball. How much pushing and grabbing and holding and hand checking goes on. It is extremely physical.
And one more texter says the officials need to be more consistent in the game. So, yeah. Again, we've covered that, so let's move on. Let's take our final break. 304 Talk 304. More texts on the other side. A reminder, high school basketball fans, if you want to see where your team ranks each week, check out the Tudor's Biscuit World Power Rankings at WVMetroNews.com. Click on the high school sports tab, then the high school basketball rankings, the 2025 Metro News basketball power rankings presented by Tudor's Biscuit World, and that poll will be updated at the end of the week. An updated poll due out on Friday. We're back with more on the CityNet statewide sports line coming up after this.
It's the busiest time of year, and your business can't afford downtime. With CityNet's managed IT and network services, we keep your technology running smoothly so you can stay focused on your customers. From cybersecurity to communications, our local experts have you covered. Count on dependable service and responsive support from a company that's right here in West Virginia. Learn more at citynet.net. CityNet connects, protects, and perfects.
The Mountain State Assessment of Trends in Community Health, or MATCH, is a survey sent to 88,000 West Virginian home addresses where the information you provide can support policymakers to direct resources to help your community. If selected, you will receive the survey information and invitation in the mail. You can complete the survey online, by mail, or by phone, and you will be compensated for your time. Visit wvmatchsurvey.org for more information. Helping your community is a touchdown for West Virginia.
We are there for you, to care for you at the Health Plan.
The Health Plan is still growing, giving you a large network of doctors, friendly and helpful customer service representatives, and competitive, flexible pricing plans that meet your needs. Log on to healthplan.org for more information.
We are there for you, to care for you at the Health Plan. We are here for you.
Live from the Health Plan Studios, the CityNet statewide sports line returns in 2 minutes on Metro News, the voice of West Virginia.
You know CityNet is West Virginia's leading technology company. Whether we're managing IT infrastructures, protecting the critical data and networks of our region's businesses, or providing fiber broadband, TV, and phone services, we are your go-to experts. We're also a strong partner in the communities in which we serve. CityNet, your trusted technology partner. Learn more about us, visit citynet.net.
I have had a complicated relationship with food. My job was to talk to heart failure patients about diet and exercise. I felt like, why would you listen to me? Because I was not following a diet that was healthy for me. I needed help. Bariatric surgery at WVU Medicine helped me lose 175 pounds. I feel like I'm free. They hold the skill, they hold the tools, and they're waiting for you to come say that you need the help.
Leading the efforts to build a stronger West Virginia, the High Technology Foundation has a proven plan to strengthen and diversify our state's economy. The I-79 Technology Park's high-capacity infrastructure continues to attract advanced federal operations that are driving economic growth. This keeps our young, educated residents in the state and brings West Virginians home. The High Technology Foundation, building a stronger West Virginia. Learn more today at WVHTF.org.
We are there for you, to care for you at the Health Plan. We are here for you.
The Health Plan proudly supports our active and healthy communities and has been your most trusted carrier for over 40 years. Log on to healthplan.org for more information.
We are there for you, to care for you at the Health Plan. We are here for you.
CityNet statewide sports line, we've received a couple of texts here about the Sunday show, and that's my fault. There was a Sunday show, but there was no video. Travis and Greg both did it from home. I recorded it at the studio and ran it and forgot to post it. So that's my fault. I'll try to fix that tonight. Give me about a half an hour, and I'll try to have Sunday's show posted. Greg, got to hear that Sunday show.
Oh, absolutely. It's a fan favorite.
Hey, guys, how about this? This is a nice little move by Ren Baker and the WVU Athletic Department for tomorrow. What were we just talking about with students, and hopefully that student attendance will be really good if it can carry the crowd, if there's some folks that have tickets that aren't able to get to the game. How about this, though? First 700 students to enter receive a free $10 concession voucher, and Greg, 50% off all beverages for all fans from 7 to 8:30. So a little concession deal there. Students getting $10 concession vouchers, first 700 in, and then basically a happy hour going on from 7 to 8:30. We're 50% off all beverages tomorrow. Pretty good deal.
Media will like that too.
Good idea. Draw people in there, and again, it's going to be a tough draw. It's midweek. It's freezing. It's going to be about 10 degrees. It's a late start, again, 8:30. So a lot of things working against having a good crowd. So you might as well incentivize it.
I do think WVU has classes off tomorrow, in-person classes. So I don't know if that helps or hurts. Students got nothing else to do, right?
Hope it helps. Because, guys, we've seen this. We talk about this in football a lot, too. It doesn't have to be. When it's 14,000 in there, it's as good of an environment as there is in the country. Mm-hmm. But you can still have a loud building in there, even if it's not filled. So hopefully that's what you get tomorrow. There is no doubt that the crowd has been a big advantage for West Virginia over over its history. But certainly this year in particular, and going back into last year with those 15 straight wins. So tomorrow's a big one. Got to have it. It's an important game. That's one where you hope the students will be there.
West Virginia against Kansas State tomorrow night. If you missed it from over the weekend, I know we talked about it on Friday, but the weather may have kept the crowd down a little bit, the threat of the snow on Saturday, but they had the Beauty and the Beast event with Mountaineer Gymnastics against 15th-ranked Denver. Unfortunately, the gymnastics team was beaten by Denver, but the 19th-ranked Mountaineer Wrestling team, as part of that event, defeated number 23 Wyoming, and it was another dramatic finish in that West Virginia had a lead. They started at 141, which meant the last match was 133, a couple of ranked wrestlers, and West Virginia had a 3-point lead, and Wyoming had one of its top veterans, Luke Willishell, against the freshman Gunnar Andrick, and the match was tied heading into the third period, and Willishell chose bottom, thinking he was going to get up, get out, get that escape point, and win the match, which would have tied it overall, but Gunnar Andrick rode him out the entire third period. The entire 2-minute third period, Andrick, the true freshman, rode him out, and the match was tied at points, so he got the ride time point and ended up winning 5-4, and that clinched the victory for West Virginia 21-15. So it was another two matches in a row. That one against Oklahoma came down to the final couple of weight classes, and both had thrilling finishes.
Yeah, certainly. Wrestling team has found a way often, and we had Steve Sabins on the show Friday night as well, West Virginia's baseball coach. Of course, they had their leadoff dinner Saturday evening, too. They got it in, and sounds like, from what I've seen from afar, that went very well at Milan Park.
That's good. So there was some action, and some people, like Greg, haven't gotten out of the house since then, right?
Nope. Hopefully some point soon. I'm tired of being home, but got to do what you got to do.
That's right. All right. Well, Greg, hopefully see you in here tomorrow.
Okay, that's the plan.
Greg Hunter with us, and Brad, we'll talk to you from the Coliseum tomorrow.
All right, big one.
Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Join us again tomorrow night from the Health Plan Studio, the CityNet statewide sports line, and we'll talk to you tomorrow.
From the Health Plan Studios, the CityNet statewide sports line is an exclusive production of the Metro News Radio Network. All rights reserved.